All right. You're on Ancient Cistern LE, spawning in the top right-hand side. It is the red Zerg player representing Berserker Esports. It is DIMAGA. And on the other side of the map, the yellow Protoss pieces, rocking the Alpha X clan tag. It is Azura. I thought Alpha X cut their StarCraft 2 team. Are they still active? I could have. I thought they had. I could have sworn that they did. Either way. We are here on Ancient Cistern. Let's see what we've got going on so far. Fairly standard opening out of both players. Nothing too shocking, too much to write home about. Another PvZ to be casted by a Terran who doesn't know what's going on. I think if I ever do come back to play StarCraft 2, I think I should just probably play random more. Like actually learn some of these other matchups that I just like don't ever see as a Terran. Give me a little bit better perspective of what's going on. Probably gonna be popping in here, not gonna see anything too. Oh, we're actually gonna try and. Well, we were going to try, but it looks like DIMAGA has just decided to take the other third base location. Always a fun part about casting the other two races. Probe is going to be just bopping around the map a little bit. I doubt. Oh no, is this a. Oh, is this DTs? This has to be DTs, right? We're hiding a probe over here. This is a fairly quick Twilight Council. And we even went Stalker first. So that's like the only thing this could be. Oh, please tell me we're gonna. Well, it is DTs. Wasn't. I'm actually. Why is. I want to know why this probe's out here. Is it just to go back for scouting? I hope so. Or. I don't know if I necessarily hope so, but. Alright, so. DIMAGA is a really good player. I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to read that something is up with Azura's build fairly soon here. Nevertheless, we do see two spore crawlers popping up. Not too out of the ordinary, I would say. Droning, getting a couple extra lings just to be on the safe side. Being said, we don't have the layer coming up yet. Alright, DIMAGA is going to send a Zergling out. Is going to see that this third base, my apologies. Third base is going to be finished, or it has been put down. Boy, I'm just stumbling over my words now. Roach Warren on the way now for the Zerg player. I will say this is. DIMAGA's going to try and take out this pylon before these Dark Templars start warping in. I think this is just barely going to make it up. Yeah. Well, one of them did. One Dark Templar did indeed make it up. Couldn't have asked for better music for this. Unfortunately, Azura is going to immediately lose that Dark Templar. And now we are. Our opener is not going to work out too well. We do still have one Dark Templar. It looks like he's actually going to transition into like a charge lot build. Let's see it happen. DIMAGA going back to droning. Couple Baneling, or Baneling nests on the way. Yeah. It looks like there was an opportunity for there to be a little bit of chaos in this game, a little bit of trial and tribulation, but just going to kind of settle back into a fairly standard game here, it seems like. Well, I say fairly standard, but DIMAGA's still kind of operating on a fairly low drone count, so we might see some aggressive roach pushes here coming up fairly soon. Yep, 10 roaches are in the production queue now. More Dark Templar are being built by Azura. Five gateways on the way. So both players look like they are going to want to get aggressive here fairly soon. DIMAGA is on such a low drone count. Trying to pump out as many roaches as possible at this point. Really planning on just clubbing Azura to death here. But Azura is, we've got Archons on the way. We've got Immortals, Charge Lots. This is, it's almost kind of your stock standard response to anything a Zerg player is doing. Archons, Immortals, Charge Lots, the good old CIA. It's the only thing I know how to play as Protoss. More Dark Templars to be warped into Archons. There we go. So we do have a slight split here by Azura, just in case DIMAGA tries to... Ooh, actually no, Archon drop. Okay, cool. Azura is setting up a defensive position here at the third base, just to make sure that if he does get attacked, be able to deal with it. And pushing out across the map. Ooh, this is a lot of Zerg to contend with. I don't know about this. Yeah, Azura is immediately going to back up. Going to lose a couple of those zealots, but nothing, not too big of a deal. There is the warp prism on the other side of the map. Looks like it's going to drop right on top of the queen. A little bit of damage is going to be done. A couple of the Zerglings are going to try and come in and save the drones here. Quick pickup. Azura does kind of hurt DIMAGA's economy a little bit, but I mean, just denying a little bit of mining time isn't I wouldn't say is the biggest of deals. DIMAGA really ramping up production. We're at 180 supply compared to Azura's 144 now. Azura's gonna have to play this smart because this is a club of Zerg that's coming in to just batter him down. Here we go. A couple of force fields unfortunately don't block all of the Banelings out. Decent splits here, but unfortunately the Zealots just aren't tanking the... Well, I'm sorry. It was actually kind of well done here. Really nice pickups by Azura. I'm actually surprised. Azura played that very, very well. And is still dropping Archons on top of this army. Really impressive. Does lose one Archon, so a bit unfortunate. However, DIMAGA does have a lot of reinforcements coming in. And it looks like he is going to be pushed back into the third base, however. Azura also has reinforcements. Looks like the Warp Prism is going to be used as a harassment tool once again. A couple of Zealots are going to be warped in there. Psionic Storm is finishing up too. Filling out the Protoss bingo card splash damage, as always. Should always be doing that as a Protoss player. Alright, so Azura should have seen this. I take it back. Alright, DIMAGA is now in the natural and main of Azura. We'll have to see how he decides to handle this wildness on the other side. It looks like the fourth base is going to be taken out by the Roach Ravager Club. He's kind of not sure what to do at this point. Like, there's just no army in either spot at this point. I think he's just going to abandon that and just take up residence at the third base. He's going to try and warp in a couple more Zealots. But this is actually looking really bad for Azura now. Fourth base was taken out. The main and natural are now laying abandoned. 19 probes went down during that fight. Azura's in a bit of a pickle. There's like a little bit of bank left, but I mean, what do you do at this point? Zealot run by was set up, but was detected by the main army. It's going to be cleaned up pretty quickly here. Yeah, it looks like he's going to pull back the warp prism. There's not really too much you can do with that. Another 16 probes just went down. Oh, these probes are really exposed. I don't like that. That makes me uncomfortable. That was like watching children play on like a railroad track or something. That was terrible to watch. Big surround here by DIMAGA. Going to be, I mean, decent storms are going down, but I don't think it's going to be nearly enough. DIMAGA's just going to come in here and just absolutely chokeslam this army to death. Now the battery overcharge is going to be activated. I don't think it's actually going to be enough, unfortunately. It's going to finish up here, and it looks like the rest of Azura's army is going to be cleaned up here at the third base. There are a couple of Lings left, a couple of Roach Ravager. The only thing left... Oh, I was going to say the only thing left was that one Immortal, but that got cleaned up really quickly. Alright, DIMAGA's going to take this... He's going to take this 1-0. Really well done by DIMAGA. All right, we're going to be hopping into game number 2 between these two players. Can't wait to see what they have in store for us this time around. Oh, it's okay. All right. Spawning in the top right-hand side of altitude. Up one game, it is DIMAGA. Spawning on the other side of the map, it is Azura. So altitude is one of those maps that always trips me up. It looks like a really big map, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, the rush paths are actually fairly short here. So we could see both players get fairly aggressive again. I am interested to see what Azura tries this time, though. I don't think that they're going to try the DT thing twice in a row. And it did go rather poorly. DIMAGA sniffed it out very quickly. Nice little mineral harassment there. It is always kind of cute to see like players that are vastly better than me, like just doing some of these little tricks, messing up their mineral, like your opponent's mineral count, just ever so slightly. And you know that their builds are so like. Even semi-pros have their builds very tuned in to the point where even missing some of those minerals like can kind of hurt. Unfortunately, the probe is going to return home with 5 minerals. All right. Fairly standard opening for both players. Nothing to write home about. Each player giving the other a bit of space to do their setup. Nothing too aggressive, nothing too flashy so far. Just a fairly standard setup for both players so far. Ooh, Stargate opening for Azura this time. I wonder if we're going to try, or I wonder if we're going to do what Night Phoenix did against Fiant there. A lot of oracles, a lot of harassing with them. A lot of damage dealing. Actually, fun fact, Pulsar Beam is like, has the highest DPS of any unit. You know, the trade-off being that you do have to activate it and consume energy with it. If you ever watch like old Florencio files, or actually no, I think Florencio was actually doing Mass Oracle well before Florencio files, if I'm not mistaken. If you watch old Florencio vids, you'll see him do that all the time. Actually, a Void Ray opening. I haven't seen. I feel like Void Ray openings aren't nearly as common anymore. So it'll be interesting to see what Azura tries to do with this. Let's go Overlord popping, I think. Void Ray finishing up now. Nothing too significant has changed in the Zerg's game plan yet. Just grabbing a couple Spore Crawlers, you know. Being safe. Gotta be safe in these times. Void Ray continuing to hang out. Moves out of position for just a second. This should be enough to cancel the third base. Ooh, Azura actually... Okay, backing up into the other little corner. Oh, how many hit points did I have? 2 hit points. I think that Zergling should have committed. Alright, so the third base will live to see another day. Another Stargate. Oh, this is... I can't wait to see what Azura's got planned. As well as ship weapons, too. So instead, I'm actually not sure, because I feel like a fleet beacon should have shown up as well, right? Like, this isn't mass Void Ray. It can't be. That would be silly. I'm certainly try to recommit on this wounded Adept, but the Adept has stand strong. Or the Adept continues to stand strong, I should say. Roachhorn finishing up now for DIMAGA. Grabbing the extra 2 gases to help fund that. Going straight into 9 roaches. DIMAGA looking to get a little bit aggressive here. And I feel like it's actually kind of the right call with this double Stargate. I'm going to take a real quick peek. Oh, DIMAGA actually does not know about the double Stargate. I'm sure that he probably picked up on some other... Oh, there we go. Fleet Beacon is about halfway done, as well as a 3rd Stargate. Oh, who did I cast recently that did something like this? Who was it? Oh my god, their name is, like... Their name is slipping me right now. But somebody tried to do this. A different version of this, I should say. Like, very, very quickly tried to get into Carrier, and just got kind of slapped. Azura's taking it a little bit more slowly, trying to be a little bit safer with the Void Rays. Grabbing a couple of Adepts to harass with as well. 3 carriers are on the way. Let's go. Let's go. I want to see this. Look. Oh boy, this is actually a large swarm of Zerglings that are going to be hitting the natural location here fairly soon, I would think. Alright, Azura, you got to hold the door. Void Race. Oh. So we had a little bit of an issue there, but it was fixed in a pause. Alright, looks like, yeah, Azura's going to have to come back and defend this. There's a lot of Zerglings doing a lot of nasty things right now. DIMAGA's going to back up now. I think DIMAGA accomplished what he set out to do. It's just to get the army pulled back and not have to deal with it over his creep. So I think what DIMAGA did was great. Like, just came in here, got a couple probes, and left after seeing the Golden Armada arrive overhead. DIMAGA is going to go ahead and set up for a Spire. Which actually might be a little... Actually, no. Would it be a little late? I don't know if that's going to be as effective because DIMAGA's right now sitting at like 63 workers. He is banking a lot of gas. And he is doing a pretty good job of keeping Azura on his side of the map. So maybe this was fine. Maybe this is fine. Spire is going to be halfway done now. More carriers are coming out, as well as Charge just now starting up. I will say, where's the splash damage? Like, I feel like I get Golden Armada is good, but where's the splash damage? Big circling run by here at the 4th base. Looks like this is going to get canceled for sure. Cups are going to get pulled away. Unfortunately, with this composition, Azura's going to have a hard time defending some of these outlying bases. And if DIMAGA can keep him on his side of the map, like DIMAGA's just going to be able to expand and do whatever he wants for a while. He even caught up in worker count here. 11 Corruptors are on the way. There are a decent chunk of Void Rays out on the field right now. Actually, how many are there? Oh, 5. Never mind. I thought there were way more than that. Nice walling here with the gateways. Gonna make sure that DIMAGA can't just kind of run in and do whatever he wants. This is actually a much better, much easier to defend position. I kind of like the way Azura is doing this. Templar Archives will be finishing up here soon, so there's our splash damage. And actually is a very good call because, you know, Storm can hit and just absolutely body a whole bunch of Corruptors. The follow-up of having a bunch of Archons is also pretty good. Bailing run by is going to find out that there is nowhere to go. Photon Cannon takes 1 hit point of damage. There's a big swarm of Zerg here that looks like DIMAGA is wanting to set up for a big push here fairly soon. Now, I feel like this is going to go one of two ways. Either DIMAGA is going to push in here and just absolutely body Azura, which is kind of looking like it could be the case with this 1 shield battery and 1 photon cannon. Or Azura holds with a decent army count left over, and we're going to see like a 30-40 minute game. Kind of leaning towards the former. Alright, Corruptors are setting up, trying to surround this just a little bit. There's actually a lot of creep already pushed up to this point. Right, we do have a ball of Archons underneath and could actually do some significant damage to these Corruptors. DIMAGA kind of biding his time, waiting for an opportunity to actually go in and crush that carrier count. These Queens are just kind of coming in here, and they're wrecking this wall so that the Banelings can come in and get a lot of damage done. Oh, there we go. We do see the Corruptors. I'm not sure if I want to say what they're doing. All right. Archons are front and center. They're going to push this this army back. Banelings come splashing in. There's actually that completely eliminated the ground army of DIMAGA, and now DIMAGA's getting pushed back. There's a ball of Corruptors in the sky, but it could just be for nothing with these Archons everywhere. Now, they are getting a little bit separated from the carrier group, which can be a bit dangerous. But no, Azura actually regroups. Now, he is picking off these Void Rays one by one, and that's the primary... I don't know if that's... Well, that's the best single target damage you can do versus this Corruptor ball. I think the main threat is actually the Archons getting in a couple of hits. Azura continuing to try and push into the Zerg army here. A little bit of static D here for DIMAGA. Archons staying under this ball of carriers. Looks like a big surround is coming in here for DIMAGA. Oop, it looks like the Roaches are actually starting to crush the ground army here. The Archons are distracted, so they can't actually deal with the Corruptors. And with that, Azura's Golden Armada has been completely cleaned up. Well, I say cleaned up, but the ground army is still here. It's still present. I don't know if it's necessarily the most threatening thing in the world. 23 roaches, 10 lings are on the way, so they'll be able to clean this up here soon. But they are taking out some more drones. Azura's economy is actually, well, 86 workers. The third base, or the fifth base, I should say, is going to go down here fairly soon. And with that, I think both armies have... Well, I wouldn't say that the armies have been reset, but... Big recall here, getting the army home. The Corruptors are still actually providing a little bit of value, picking off some of these outlying structures. Azura has decided to stick with the Golden Armada plan. Got 3 more carriers coming out. Unfortunately, his kind of fed his army piecemeal there to DIMAGA. Oh no, the Corruptor P. Once again, the Corruptors kind of just puke all over everything and sad Protoss noises. So far, it looks like we're not, we don't have any plan to actually move into Hive Tech. I think once again, Azure is going to have to try and stick this out. Oh. Okay, so we actually are kind of moving into more of a ground-centric army. So at first I thought he was going to try and rebuild that Golden Armada, but no, we're actually trying not to do that. Corruptor's still sharking around. Looks like they actually might be able to get a pick on this Nexus. Unfortunately, Azure doesn't actually have any photon cannons over here, so they're going to be able to do that kind of as they want to. And unfortunately, it looks like that base is going to go down. Zealot run by is going to come up here, but DIMAGA is prepared for it. A lot of Zerglings and a couple of Roaches are going to be able to intercept these Zealots. It looks like Azure is going to try and push through the middle of the map there, but then decides not to. Fourth base is going to be rebuilt. Azure does have a new army, but I don't think this one is nearly as threatening as the first one that he sent out on the map. Ooh, I don't like this army getting split up like that. I would like to point out, though, that DIMAGA's bank is actually half decent. Like, his drone count's definitely lower, but he's banking up a decent amount. Now, there are still a lot of these Corruptors in the sky. Takes out one of the carriers, but that's actually the meat of the army here, these charge lots and Archons. But it looks like DIMAGA's forces are actually going to just absolutely sweep through this. All the carriers have been taken down. The not the Corruptors, the Archons actually got split up pretty much. I cannot even commentate this. There's too much going on. DIMAGA actually comes out of that really well. That was an excellent trade there by DIMAGA. 23 Roaches in the production queues, a couple of Ravagers. Oh, looks like the Corrupts are going to try and come in here again. And I think at this point, DIMAGA is going to try and finish off Azura. Trading out some of these Corruptors by killing off buildings. This massive Roach Ravager army is just going to come into the third base and try to make magic happen. Now, there's still a couple of Archons here, but I think DIMAGA is just going to pick them off pretty quickly. Azura really stressing that Archon drop magic. Oh, GG's going to be called. DIMAGA is going to take game 2.